Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a is it a dupe tutorial slash review slash all that fun stuff on the Tarte Toasted palette versus the ColourPop Double Entendre palette. Okay, so I have one eye Tarte, one eye ColourPop. You'll have to see which is which when we get on into the video. But before we do that, if you guys are new here, hi, I am Kendra. I post 3 beauty slash lifestyle videos a week and 1 vlog. That is a weekly vlog. So if you want to see those, definitely hit the subscribe button down below. Don't forget to do that before you leave. And if you wanted to follow me on my social medias, I'll leave them on the screen right here, but it is at KendraCus on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. All those are all the same name. If you want to see what I'm up to on a day-to-day basis, hit me up there. But without further ado, let's get right on into this dupe tutorial. Okay, you guys, so today we are doing a little video called Is It a Dupe? Just kidding, I don't have a name for these videos, but today I have the ColourPop Double Entendre palette and the Tarte Toasted palette. What I do want to say is this is in the same exact packaging as the ColourPop I Love You palette. So I'm really disappointed. Like, come on ColourPop, you couldn't have got it in a new packaging. But it does look like a really, really pretty palette. So I wanted to show you them the side-by-side comparison really fast, and I will swatch them as well. But here is a side-by-side comparison. They look pretty dang similar. They've got a lot of similar shades, and there's only like one shade that the Tarte palette has that the ColourPop palette didn't do really, and I will show you. So we have this shimmery, fiery red shade right here, and I believe it is called Flame. And we don't really have a comparative, is that a word? Comparison? We don't really have a shade that is the same in comparison. There are 4 shimmers, which makes sense when we think about it this way. There are 4 shimmers in the Tartelette palette, 1 matte with sparkles, which is that brown shade right there, and we only have 3 shimmers in this palette in the matte brown sparkle shade as well. So it does make sense. They did take out one of those shades. So I'm just going to try and do somewhat of a basic look because I want to use the same shade, so we will not be using that Flame shade. On my right eye, your left, I will be using ColourPop palette, and on my left eye, your right, I will be using the Tartelette palette. So let's get right into it. So there is no mirror in the ColourPop palette. I'm going to be using the Tartelette palette as my mirror. If you see this and you think I'm using it on my right eye, I'm actually using this. I just need a mirror, you know what I mean? So the first shade, I think I'm actually gonna mix 2 shades, and that is going to be Naked, which I think is supposed to be Naked and Nip Slip. Naked and Nip Slip. And in the Tartelette palette, that is Cashmere and Latte. These 2 right here, Cashmere, Latte. So I'm first gonna take the ColourPop palette on my right eye. I'm dipping into them. Just a normal amount of kickback, nothing crazy. Oh, I will zoom you guys in really fast. As I was saying, normal amount of kickback, nothing crazy. And oh my gosh, I need to prime my eyes. I will be right back. I don't know if I'll ever recover from that rookie mistake, but now that I have primed eyes, I am taking the ColourPop shades in Naked and Nip Slip, and I am using them in the transition. So these are blending out really well so far, but you know, I truly expected them to because I've had really great experiences with the ColourPop palettes. Super pigmented, easy to blend. Okay, now that that is laid down in the transition, I'm gonna take a different brush, and then I'm going to jump into Cashmere and Latte in the Tarte palette and do the same thing on my left eye. So the only thing I will say so far is it's almost like the Cashmere shade in the Tarte palette is brighter than the Naked shade in this palette, and the Nip Slip shade in the ColourPop palette is a little bit more warm than the, what is this called, Latte shade in the Tarte palette. So far, they look pretty dang similar though. I just kind of had to mess with the colors a little bit to get them dead on, but so far it's looking like it's gonna be a dupe. Okay, for the ColourPop side, I'm going to take a mixture of the two center shades right here called Extracurricular and Hard. And those translate to, let's see, Warm and Cozy on the Tarte palette. So this is Cozy and this is Warmth. And I'm going to start with the ColourPop side, and this is going to go directly into the crease and into the outer V to deepen things up. That's pretty. I really like those shades mixed together. Okay, I really like how that turned out. I'm just going to take the original brush I used on the ColourPop side and just blend everything even further. For the Tarte side, I'm taking Warmth and Cozy, which I showed you guys earlier, and doing the same thing. So I think what the difference is in the two palettes is Cozy in the Tarte palette is slightly less red than Hard in this palette. I think that is something to just keep in mind, but the difference is honestly so small. Now the shimmers are where we have the biggest difference in this palette. So I'm gonna swatch them really fast to make sure that I'm using like similar tones on my eyes. So these are the most similar shimmer shades in the palette, so I think I'm gonna work with these ones today. Okay, so for the ColourPop side, I am going to take Uninhibited, which is this shade right here, and I'm kind of just gonna like lay this across the lid. That's really pretty. Taking it a little bit into the outer V, but I'm keeping it mainly on the center. And then I'm taking my other Anastasia brush, and I'm taking the shade Sunset, which is this shade up here, which is the comparable shade, and doing the same thing to this eye. So they do look pretty similar. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm going to apply them both again, but I'm gonna take some setting spray so that they last longer on my eyelids. That is so pretty. I love this shade so much. This shade in the Tarte palette, the Sunset shade, is like so much prettier on your eye than it looks in the pan. I don't know why, but it is. And then I'm going to take the ColourPop shade, spritz some setting spray on it, and lay it on top again. For the ColourPop side, I'm now gonna jump into this shade down here, which is called Keep It PG. And I think I'm just gonna initially start off by spritzing it with setting spray, just so that it really latches onto my eye. And this is going to go on the inner third and on the inner corner. This shade isn't as metallic as the other shade we use. It's more of like a satin. I don't know, it looks metallic in the pan, but it's not really picking up metallic. And then in the Tarte palette, I'm taking this shade down here, which is called Candle. This is a really pretty shade, but it is a little bit chunkier. So good thing I have setting spray so that I don't get fallout all over my face. And I'm gonna do the same thing. So it's almost like the Candle shade is brighter than the shade in the ColourPop palette, which is called Keep It PG, because it definitely picks up a lot brighter. I'm gonna take the two brushes I used for the Sunset and the, what is it called in the Uninhibited, and just like blend through with the lighter shade we just put in. I'm just, you know, making it blend nice, making it all even. And then for another step, I'm taking these two shades in the ColourPop palette again, which are called Extracurricular and Hard, and I am going to blend these in through the outer V to blend it in with the metallic shades that we placed on the lid. We want a really smooth and easy transition, nothing crazy. And I'm gonna do the same in the Tarte palette with Warmth and Cozy on the Tarte eye. Taking the original brushes I used in the transition and just blending through just to make sure that it looks really great up top. And like I usually do, I'm gonna keep it pretty simple on the lower lash line because of my eye shape. It's just better if I keep the lower lash line simple. So I'm gonna jump into this palette right here and start by taking actually a mixture of these two shades, and they are called Extracurricular and Nip Slip. And in the Tarte palette, it is Warmth and Latte. Okay, so I am taking more of Latte on the, not the ColourPop, the Tarte eye, and keeping it really close to the lower lash line. And then I'm going to take Nip Slip from the ColourPop palette and do the same on the ColourPop eye. It's turned out to be a really pretty look. To matte highlight my brow bone, I'm taking this top shade right up here in the ColourPop palette. It is called Locked and Loaded. It is a little bit more yellow tone, so I think I might mix it with this shade down here, which is called Send Noodles. That's kind of funny. I love noodles. And we're going to highlight the brow bone. I don't really feel like that did a ton of highlighting. So I think I'm gonna take this shade up here, which is called Flasher. And this looks like a satin, but I think it'll do better at highlighting the brow bone. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, and then jumping into the Tarte palette, I'm taking S'more up here, which also isn't the most highlighting shade, but it's much better than anyone in the ColourPop palette. And then with that same brush, I'm kind of gonna do what I did with the ColourPop palette. I'm taking this shade up here. It is called Sunrise, and it is also a satin. And I'm going to just do a little bit more of highlighting with that. Okay, so I am actually really quickly, to finish off the eyes, gonna take a little bit of Becca Moonstone highlighter. And what I'm gonna do is put this on the brow bone. And I'm going to put a little bit on top of the shades we placed in the inner corner because they're just not that bright, you know? Okay, and then I'm gonna put some mascara on and I'll be right back with you guys. Okay guys, so here we have the swatches. Sorry, they're not wonderful, but these top or bottom 3 rows are the Tarte palette and the top 3 rows are the ColourPop palette. Now, as similar as they are, there are quite a few differences. Now, some of the differences are so small that you wouldn't even know, but there are those differences just to keep in mind. My thoughts on these two palettes being dupes, I do think it is quite a good dupe for the Tarte Toasted palette. There are a few shades that are either off or missing, like that red fiery metallic shade in the Tarte palette. And I will say formula wise, they are pretty close because ColourPop does have a wonderful formula. You guys know how much I love ColourPop palettes and, you know, single shadows and everything. But I will say this was easier to work with, and I'm glad because I paid 45 bucks for this and I paid 16 for this, so I would hope that this was easier to work with. But the great, wonderful news is that you can go out and get a fantastic palette for $16 at ColourPop.com, and it is essentially a Tarte Toasted palette dupe. I do think these are dupes. I think if you're looking for something like this and you don't want to spend that much money, this is 100% a wonderful option. I wouldn't hesitate, I wouldn't be scared. I would run to ColourPop.com and pick this up. It is called Double Entendre if you missed that before. But I love both these palettes. In the end, it's almost like such a close tie, but I still prefer the Tarte Toasted palette, but I definitely think you could run out, pick this up, you won't regret it. Okay, you guys, well, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, little dupe tutorial video that I haven't really done before, so it's really exciting. I think I've done it once before with the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, but this was really exciting. I really loved this video. I actually am obsessed with the way the eye looks turned out and with how well each palette performed. Don't forget to subscribe, guys, if you are new here, and also check out my social medias if you want to. They'll be on the screen right here. I will let you guys go. Have a great morning, noon, evening, day, night, whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!